An effective innovation strategy. How will we know that the strategy we use in terms of the innovation that we aim at or we want to achieve is effective or not? An effective innovation strategy answers three key questions. First question that any organization should ask is this: how will we create value? Second, how will we capture value? Third, how will we deliver value? For the first step, which is creating value, we have to ask these following questions. How will the technology evolve? How will the market change? How will consumer preferences and behavior change? Where will innovations come from? And what is our value proposition? For the second step, which is capturing value, we have to answer these following questions. How should we design the business model? Where should we compete in the value chain? How should we compete if standards are important? And for the third step, which is delivering value, these following questions should be asked. How do we manage the core business and growth simultaneously? How do you use our strategy to drive real resource allocation? What organizational structure, processes, measurements, and incentive mechanisms do we use? We have here, for example, personal computers, retail, photography, and video games. These are just some of the possible aspects where we can innovate or wherein innovation could be made possible. A harder question would be, can you think of an industry that has not gone through drastic changes in the past several decades in terms of technology, business models, and major players? Yeah, for example, soft drinks, ready to eat breakfast cereals, rough diamonds, and business education. Here we can see a graph of the traditional model of industry life cycle. We have, for example, first stage of the industry life cycle, the fermentation or the introduction of particular business or an industry. Then it will undergo certain shakeout. Then, as it move forward, so it will go for maturity, and as years go by, it will decline. So we can see a curve like this. And here is an alternate model of industry life cycle. We have here emergence, followed by convergence, coexistence, and dominance. So the green curve figures out an established industry, while the red one is the emerging industry. What are sources of innovation? According to Peter F. Drucker, a management guru, the sources of innovation could be the following: industry and market changes, demographic changes, new knowledge, changes in perception, unexpected occurrences, incongruities, and process needs. Here we have innovation management tools. For general innovation tools, we have benchmarking, brainstorming, business process reengineering, change management, technology audit, technology forecast, and value analysis. For product innovation tools, we have design for X, quality function deployment or QFD, while for managerial innovation tools, we have failure mode and effect analysis, peer evaluation, team building, ISO 9000, total productive maintenance. Then for process innovation tools, we can make use of the following: designed for manufacture and assembly, lean thinking, continuous improvement, concurrent engineering, and just in time, or JIT, general innovation tools. Benchmarking. Benchmarking is the process of improving performance by continuously identifying, understanding, and adapting outstanding practices and processes found inside and outside an organization. It could be in a company, public organization, a university, college, or many more. Benchmarking of business is usually done with top performing companies in other industry sectors. This is feasible because many business processes are essentially the same from sector to sector. Brainstorming. Brainstorming is an idea generating method widely used by teams for identifying problems, alternative solutions to problem, or opportunities for improvement. This method originated in 1941 by Alex F. Osborn when his search for creative ideas resulted in an unstructured group process of interactive brainstorming that generated more and better ideas than individuals could produce working independently. The term brainstorming has become a commonly used word in the English language as a generic term for creative thinking. It is actually done naturally and doesn't necessarily require planning. The more alternatives you generate, the better chance you have of uncovering the best solution. Change management. It is another tool for innovation. Change management is the process of aligning an organization's people and culture with systems, changes, business strategy, and organizational structure. An active change management plan builds understanding and commitment to changes associated with an implementation of any type, for example, re-engineering, information technology, or strategic initiatives. Aligns key organizational elements, structure, role skills, and many more. To support the desired change and enables continuous performance improvement to sustain the change. While technology audit is a method for identifying through a short interview visit to a company the major company requirements, needs, weakness, and strengths on both human resources and infrastructure. The technology audit is a technique that enables the auditor to determine and identify in a very short meeting session the management view of how the company performs as well as strong indication of what the company really needs. The technology audit technique examines concurrently the external and the internal environment of the company and identifies the human resources relation to company's performance. Technology forecast. Technology forecast includes all efforts to project technological capabilities and to predict the invention and spread of technological innovations. A technological forecast actually includes four elements. The time of the forecast of the future date when the forecast is to realize the technology being forecasted, the characteristics of the technology or the functional capabilities of the technology, and a statement about probability. Managerial innovation tools. First, we have peer evaluation. Teams have specific goals. Team members have learned that team goals cannot be accomplished unless everyone participates and works together, and team have developed a shared strategy which allows them to evaluate their progress. The evaluation of this progress for each one separately is actually what peer evaluation is. Another is the team building. A team is a group of people working towards a common goal. Team building is the process of enabling that group of people to reach their goal. It is therefore a management issue, and the most effective form of team building is that undertaking as a form of management consultancy. Rather than as pure training, though there is a role for training within a program of team building. Team could be represented as such. Together, everyone accomplishes more. ISO 9000. In 1987, ISO published the first five international models on quality assurance known as the ISO 9000 standards. In their announcement at the time, they described the new standard as the refinement of all the most practical and generally applicable principles of quality systems and a culmination of agreement between the world's most advanced authorities of these standards as the basis of a new era of quality management. ISO 14000 refers to procedures for ensuring sustainable and environmentally friendly operations. I or EIA stands for Environmental Impact Assessment. Just in time or JIT. Today, just in time is a process for achieving excellence in a manufacturing company based on the continuing elimination of waste. Waste is considered as those things which do not add value to the product. It accomplishes this by moving material to the necessary place at the necessary time. Each operation is closely synchronized with the subsequent ones to make that possible. The second of three key questions would be how will we capture value or what determines the innovator share? Here, for example, is the illustration. Okay, the different portions we have here, for example, uh, suppliers, customers, innovator, and imitators followers. As we can see, innovators are just a few compared to the number of suppliers or imitators or followers and customers. Sources of uniqueness, intellectual property protection. Okay, we can make use of patents that finite length, the right to prohibit producing, while copyrights, it's giving you the right to prohibit copying. Secrecy, trade secrets and non-compete clauses, tacit knowledge, and causal ambiguity, as well as the speed. Uniqueness is powerful but often difficult to maintain. Legal mechanisms can be costly to create and then even more costly to enforce, and sometimes they require public disclosure. Secrecy may be difficult to maintain. Speed is hard work and sometimes immutable. What are complementary assets? These are assets that allow a firm to make money even if the innovation is not unique. The answer to the question, if our innovations were instantly available to our competitors, would we still make money and why? Types of complementary assets, things one can do, or in short, this could be considered as competencies. These are, for example, manufacturing capabilities, sales and service expertise, and strategic alliances. The type of complementary asset is or are things one own, or these are resources. It could be brand name, distribution channels, and customer relationships. All right, so we are exercise. Okay, position, soft drinks, windows, office, book publishing, travel agencies, your industry or firm. Okay, is it easy to maintain or hard to maintain? Complementary available, assets are tightly held. So you can just identify which status your your product is. Uniqueness and complementary assets over the life cycle. Okay, we have okay, it has to undergo what we call fermentation. It has to ferment. It will take up and it will go for maturity. Okay, you have to make sure it's uniqueness and there is complementary asset. There are these complementary assets. The last of three key questions will be how will we deliver value? Discontinuous innovation as a strategic problem. Genuine uncertainty. It's not going to happen. It's certainly not now. Cannibalization. It will compete with our current products. Shifts in the customer base. Our current customers don't want it. Margin erosion. It will make less money. The new opportunity doesn't meet our current customers' needs. Discontinuous innovation as an organizational problem.